Today I'm going to show you a really unique way to make Christmas cards. Why am I doing this so early, you're asking? Because I planned on it taking me a while to do, so I started back in January. I wanted to make, usually we do every year the Christmas card with the pictures and everything, but all my kids are growing up and it's getting harder and harder to get a family picture every year and get us all for the card. So this year I thought, well, I'll do something a little bit different. So I wanted to do some cross stitch cards, and if you've watched some of my other videos, you working with the vintage linens. We used vintage linens to make some note cards, and we used these blank craft paper cards that have a slot in them to slide photographs in. And I love this craft paper, and they come with matching envelopes. And I got a big box of them on Amazon. They were 48. They came in all different, up to like 200. So if you were making a lot, this is what you want to do. And I also bought some of these. They're like clear sleeves for putting photographs in. They have an adhesive strip. And then some double-sided adhesive. They're from Scrapbook. This one is Scrapbook adhesive, and this one is from Elizabeth Craft Design. I really like this one. And it was a double-sided adhesive for making stickers or putting photos in things. And I needed some cardboard cut to the size of the opening in the card and the plastic sleeve. So those are the things I was working with. Now to get started, I need a cross-stitch design that I can do quickly that looks nice. I have about 2 hours at night that I like to sit in my chair and sew, and we watch TV or we watch news or whatever we do, but I have about 2 hours at night of consecutive uninterrupted sewing time in my chair, which is all hand work. I'm not at the machine or anything. So I have a few cross-stitch books, and I got 2 new ones. Hirschner's has a surprise package for stamped embroidery, and then they also have cross-stitch embroidery, and so I got one of those jumbo surprise boxes, and in it I got 2 nice hardbound Christmas cross-stitch pattern books. And this was a whole sampler, but I wanted to find a design that was simple enough that I could do one whole design in 2 hours. And my thought was I needed about 27, 28 cards with an extra one to keep I have a book of memories that we keep every year. So I figured if I could do 5 a week, and there's always a night that I don't get to it or whatever, and I don't ever usually get to on the weekend. 1 card a night. And it had to be, something simple, not a bunch of colors, just something simple. So I started looking at all the designs, and I couldn't find anything by itself. So I started looking at bigger selections. And in this sampler, I found just this top part with this zigzag. It says Merry Christmas in the trees. When I did my first one, I started out with the top part, and I did the snowflakes. The snowflakes by themselves took me an hour and a half. The rest of the card took 2 hours. So I thought, well, the next night I'll do this, I'll readjust and recount, and I'll take out the snowflakes. I really like the snowflakes, so I'm probably going to keep this one in my book of memories, because it's the only one that's different. And so I adjusted the pattern, and I came up with just Merry Christmas. And I did a bunch of different ones. I did maroon, dark green. I really liked this oatmeal-like cross-stitch. It had the different flecks. I was a little disappointed because I sent off for another oatmeal, and it didn't have the flecks in this one. But I already had this one piece. So I did different color greens, red and white. I did a few experimental ones. I figured even if I don't like them, I can still use them. So this one I experimented with I found this real pretty, it was actually crochet thread that was variegated, but I didn't like how it turned out. It came out thicker than the rest of them. So that one I only did one. This one I thought, well, I'll use the silver trees, the silver metallic thread, and I really don't like working with metallic thread, but in that same jumbo surprise box I got a bunch of it, so I did one, I didn't like it. This one I took the metallic and I put it in with the regular thread, so one thread was metallic and it was woven throughout. It turned out okay, but it was really difficult to work with, and this one took me more than 2 hours because it kept fraying and breaking. I just don't like working with metallic threads. This one was another variegated threads that I just didn't like the way it came out. And this one was probably the best variegated one, the hand-dyed embroidery floss that I got from a seller off Etsy. It had really crisp colors and I really liked it, and it was fun to work with, but the fade was a little lighter than what I wanted on some of the letters. So on all of those were all sort of one-offs. You know, I really liked doing the maroon and the green were my favorite, so that's what the bulk of them were. But I would do a maroon, I would do a green, and then I would experiment with one or the other. So the majority of them are these three, and with the maroon and the greens on that flecked oatmeal being my favorite. I did all of those, and so what I did a whole bunch of them, and then I cut them out and ironed them, cut them out. And I'll show you how we're going to construct. Okay, the first thing I did was I cut the cardboard to fit the sleeve, the plastic sleeve, and double check and make sure it fits in there and everything. And then I've cut I didn't cut it two sides because I'm going to put the cardboard on it. I'm going to get my two-sided adhesive sheet here on the cardboard. Now on most of them I have the adhesive covering the entire cardboard, but as I got toward the end here I started running out, so I was trying to figure out what I could do to make my adhesive stretch a little farther here. So I want to center over my design, push it down good, and then I want to turn it over and really get those fibers, that cross-stitch Aida fabric really down into that adhesive. Make sure I go in between each column of the stitching and turn it the other way and do the other thing, so you really get those fibers on that adhesive. Then I'm just going to turn it over. Alright, and when my design is cut out, just want to slide it into the little sleeve. Now you could do it theoretically without these plastic sleeves, but these really protect the work and just make the card look more finished and keeps fingerprints and oils and smudges and stuff off your stitchery. And then I'm just going to fold that down there real tight and seal it. So now my embroidery is in the thing there. I'm also going to want a piece of, I use clear packing tape instead of Scotch tape because it just seems like it sticks better. You're going to open your card up and you want to slide your design into position. And what I did was I took one of these cards and I split it open, and I used that on beside the design, and I've used it as a little frame to decide what it would look like. And then, you know, I figured the stitches and everything. This one I didn't really have to do much adjustment. It was already the right width and everything. I just had to sort of add I had to add the additional bottom trim thing there, right there. All right, when you get it centered, I'm just going to use a piece of packing tape, sort of anchor it in there, fold it over, and there's my card. It makes a really unique card that you could pick anything, any picture that you really like in order to do it. There's, like I said, like this sampler had all kinds of different things, and there's all kinds of ornament pictures, a whole variety of Christmas cross-stitch charting that is available, and you can just select the portion of it that you want and do it for your Christmas card. You do like a test one, and remember, even the test one, as long as it fits in your frame, you can use even if you don't like it. So when you get one and decide how much time you want to spend on it, do the sample one and time yourself, and then you can sort of get an idea of how long it's going to take you to get your entire Christmas card list done. Like I said, I started in January, and here we are in April, and so obviously that's not working every night because I have other projects that I do for my channel that I have to stop and work on. So, but that was pretty consistent, and I believe I did 27 or 28 of them. So I hope this has given you an idea on how to make a cool cross-stitch or embroidered Christmas card. So this has been Angie with the cross-stitched Christmas cards, and I hope you enjoyed this project.